So this is full tilt of the burner with this regulator. I'm not sure if it's better or worse. I don't know if I can adjust anything to make it. No, that was better. More oxygen in. The blue flames used to be higher. I'll be switching to gas soon enough. Okay, so on the front here, I did see a bit of a boil, so there's a tiny little one right there. Started, I did stir this a few times and check. Sorry about the fog up. Not too happy with the gravity, if that's what it is. Pre-boil of 1045. I am doing an hour and a half boil. And guesstimation of 2 gallons is 1025. Okay. So I kind of interrupted there, but not so sure about that new regulator. Not much of a difference for a while. It doesn't change full to that. It is just slightly boiling. Before it had no problem. That pot went inside. It says 1025, so I'm going to boil it, maybe add a can kit. And you can see out. Hard to see, but it's snowing. It is snowing. So hopefully this can get to a better boil than that, because it used to. This is freezing up. There we go. Actually, tank's freezing up, because it's going crazy. Either the regulator froze up, or the tank froze up. That's much better. Much, much better. You can turn them on their sides or upside down. Okay, so it's not necessarily the regulator's fault. Look at that. Putting it on its side. Turn it upside down and get even more. You can hear it making noise. Bubbling away. I'll have to keep checking on the one in the stove. So this is emptied out, but this will be a treat for my dog and her dinner, and the rest will be going in my compost pile in the backyard. You can see that's 100% frosted up. There's frost on there, along with the snow outside. Turn it upside down, get a bit more. Amazing. Or not. Sometimes you shake it up then. If I'm not winning on this, I'll be changing the tank. Shake it up a bit. But just playing here now. Oh, it's going to die out. Change the tank. I'm going to thaw out. This one's full. The regulator's frosting up though. I'm not going to stick a lighter on it. It's working okay right now. See what I'll have to do. If that thing, the regulator's freezing up. Hot water on it maybe. So I'm waiting for this to re-come to a boil. And once it's rolling around, I'll check the gravity a bit more. I got the other one on the stove. See what I do with that. Again, it's only 2 gallons, so I might just stick it with a can kit that I have. It's expired, and make another hack beer. At least it started from a real beer. So it is boiling all on the edge there. Just need a good rolling boil. Need this flame to be consistent. Again, it is like misty snowing. And it's not even Halloween yet. I pretty much got a boil that I'm going to have to watch now. It was opening up in the middle, and the hot bag keeps pushing it out. I just want to make sure it doesn't boil over, because this can make a big mess. I've had it happen before, but like, I'm going to be turning the gas down. For sure. After that, good news on my refractometer, because I had it sitting there when I was seeing 1045, let it sit. I guess it cooled down and equalized more. It says 1055, and that's a really good starting gravity, which I will check again to confirm, especially when I have this boil settled, and I'll have to keep checking inside and to see what I even do with that. Just that can boil over as well. I don't have it on full crank though, but we've seen today what it can do, even though it's an old gas stove that I got. So I'll still have to empty the mash tun. I'll do that once I know this is settled, and when I have a confirmed stable boil, I'll start my timer. It's a 60-minute timer, so I put it to 30, or I'll put it to 60, and then when it hits 30 I just put it back to 60 again to do the hour and a half. I almost need to turn it down even more. It's pushing all this air into the strainer bag with my hops. It's going pretty good even though I turn the gas down. And then a bit more. I don't know how much it's going to get, but definitely got a boil going. So I guess it was close to the end of the tank. And frost it up. Good rolling boil going on right now. Timer's on. I did check the gravity again, so it is actually 1055, so that is really good news. So I'll be having a pretty good beer here. So an hour and a half boil on this, because I got the Pilsner malt in it, and I think it's just the style anyways. I did manage to get that double decoction in. I will be checking inside very shortly. The yeast is still on the stir plate downstairs in the basement, so I'll just give it a bit of a wake-up call. Should be good. It's going to be fermented at a lower temperature than normal, unless I stick a heat belt on it, because it's definitely not summer. Again, there was snow. So here we go, another brew on the go. So I got this and a nice steady boil on the stove. I did pour in the rest of those 2-liter bottles. This can kit's definitely past date, and it's Beer Maker's British, I think, bitter ale, so it's an English bitter. So that's what's going to get mixed with it. Might throw some English hops in there, maybe a little dextrose to top it up, and call it a day with that. But got to gather some grains for my pup, because she likes them in her dinner when I can do this. So you can see in there, that's where I pulled the tin foil off, how much scummier the grains get when you do decoctions. It's all that protein. So I'm going to scoop some out and put it in her food. And you see it in her poop, but it's good for her, and she loves it, so that's probably good enough. And I have made dog biscuits before, but I'm not going to this time. There's dog food in there. I might add a bit more. I was checking on this. Still a good rolling boil. Still got a fair bit of time. I haven't rolled it back, so there's still 70 minutes plus to boil. I haven't decided on hop additions, but this is going pretty good and steady with the new tank on there. No freezing up on anything. Let's see about that. I took the jacket off. It's a water heater insulation. And then I have to go dump this in my backyard. So it's going to be a good strong beer. We'll see. Well, just like a Dunkelweizen should be. Boil's still going, and best practices is to clean as you go. So there's my mash tun. This thing won't be sitting here forever, so in the winter I guess I'll have to rely. I used to just turn it upside down. I'll have to trust this stuff not rusting. You can see the design. I did it myself, welded it up in a day, or an evening. Cut all the pieces of steel and just went right to town. I had it so the burners can just sit on top, not welded in, but they're in braces that fit them perfectly. So still haven't decided on hops. Need to go check in on the stove. I just had a glass of water. This I'll just throw up here like that. It's safe. I'll probably wait for that to go to the 30 so I can put it to the 60 to be the hour and a half. Not much else happening. That thing doesn't get cleaned out too often. But It's okay. Just heats up water, and so most of the protein's broken down. I don't even think I'm going to put Warloff in this. Maybe some yeast nutrient. That's what I'll put in. Okay. And this has been boiling for 20 minutes. As soon as that hits 10, I'm going to add 1 ounce of Willamette, which is kind of British, but it's American. It's a substitute. And then I'll shut it off, and I'll get that can of malt extract heated up and pour it in. Top it up with cold water. Call it a brew. Or I'll just toss these in now. And there they go right in. Smell earthy, and there's 10 minutes. Still on the same brew day. I put the can kit, as you see here, in there, mixed it pretty good. It's always a little sticky. See what it tastes like. I'm decided on what yeast I'm going to use. I'm just going to give it a bit of a cold water bath to cool it down quicker. It is cool outside, but I'm going to do this instead. And I have a timer that I could see for my brew outside. I'm only going to add hops at the end, so I'm good for a while. So I haven't measured gravity or anything. I've done that stovetop extra brew with the can kit in it. I have it in a water bath, second time rinsing in the sink in the kitchen. I've been left this because I trusted it. I got less than 20 minutes, which you can't see, left in the boil. So I'm going to start hooking up all my apparatuses. That tank thawed out. It's not empty. It froze up. It happens when the pressure temperatures vary it. And normally when I recirculate through my plate chiller, I kind of stop it to ensure that it does get the full boil and the 15 minutes of sanitizing. And what I have here is 3 ounces of saws, which I'm deciding I'm putting in with 5 minutes left, and maybe some yeast nutrient. But I'm going to hook up the hoses, show you what it looks like, and you'll see it when it's running too. And I brought a spare battery with me just in case this one cocks out. So the lighting's not so good because it's now after 7 o'clock, but from the boil kettle into the inlet of the pump, the outlet, I got a valve on there to control the flow into the plate chiller. I have an analog thermometer going through here so I can see the temperature coming out, and then it just goes back into the boil kettle. I circulate it, run it. Normally this drops it in about 4 minutes now, and I'm good to go right in the carboys, which I already brought up to 6.5 gallons from my basement, sanitized, ready to go. 20 minutes left, so it's getting to go time on the 15-minute. So I'm gonna make sure I have an extension cord to go plug it in, and have a little video of it circulating and see what happens. Okay, so I got my phone for light here because the lighting's not very good. So open the valve, waited to prime the pump up, and it's going through the plate chiller. Sorting up the angle, and then that's the shadow of my phone. So it shows it's boiling. We're pretty damn close. I'm gonna just keep turning this back until I see this boiling again, because right now it's kind of at cold break, so I want 15 minutes full boiling. So I'm just gonna watch this as it pumps it in, just recirculating. You can see how much it, see how far it boiled down. That was quite a few gallons. So once it starts boiling again, I'll hit 15, add those hops at 5, maybe I'll throw some yeast nutrient in now, and hook up the hoses, and this thing will chill guaranteed very quickly with this plate chiller. It's like a 40 wide, so gas going pretty good on there. Don't need to turn it up. Got everything cleaned up except the boil kettle, so I'm waiting on that. See, the pump's not quiet, but turned up the gas, got it to a full boil again. So this will guarantee sanitize everything. Put 15 minutes back on the timer. Just want to watch it because I did turn it up a bit. Should be okay. Again, there it goes, and I'll hook up the water hoses. I don't got anything to clean except this boil kettle itself, so and the spoon and the bag the hops are in. Kept on top of it. Only had the one beer still. Rare on a brew day, but Thursday, so everything's going good. It's the first time again using this brew stand I made over a month ago. I also have to figure out if I want to mount these on a piece of wood or put them on the stand, the pump and the plate chiller. But it's nice to take them off and, you know, back flush them. So I'll just throw the other hops in, and then maybe I'll just turn this on when I'm chilling. So I didn't actually get the ding on video, but we're at flame out, so I'm closing the gas off. There goes the flame. Open that up so that doesn't happen. So this is still circulating. I have my yeast starter and my two 6.5 gallon carboys ready to go. I got the water lines hooked up, so here we go. And I'll have to get my phone out, which you're not going to see it. The temperature just flies down. Like, well, that's leaking. It's already at, it's going down to 120. I don't even have this fully cranked. Let's stay in there now. I'll move back up. I have to control the flow rate of the valve and the water level, and I will get to pitching temperature really quickly. I have to change the battery. So I just had to change the battery, it died on me. So I'm still recirculating. Oh, and it dropped to 80. So it's about 25 degrees Celsius right now. Guarantee I just shut the valve some. Be able to pour this in. At that point, sometimes I can just let it gravity flow into the carboys. But I'm going to unplug the pump, and I have to do that with two hands. So I'm just going to take the hose out of the boil kettle, which is all sanitized because it's been boiling in there, and put it in one of the carboys. And then I'll pitch my yeast. Now I'll pitch my yeast on both of these. Then I'll do that. So I got the wort going right on top of the yeast cakes. I evenly divided it up. Roughly, I shut the pump off and didn't change the valves, and it immediately dropped to 60. So that's 15 degrees. I don't think and I'd even shut down the water some to a slower rate to see if it'll go up, because it doesn't need to be that cold. So I'm leaving it like that, conserving water now. I'm going to let that just naturally flow and evenly distribute this between the two carboys. Haven't decided what yeast I'm using on the one that I'm cooling in the sink still. Not worried about any bacteria or anything like that. It is probably below zero because we did get snow today. Even though I guess there's not ice in the car, it's all wet. So you can see it's a nice, nice color. No whirl off or anything like that. It's a wheat beer, no point. I'll just watch the levels and not try and step on anything, because again, I've never had this set up like this. And we're going good. I've added the 3 ounces of saws with 5 minutes left. So, oh, I don't want that blowing off. Worst case, I can just grab the tin foil off that. So these were all star sand cleaned. So I guess I'll show you when I have them both filled. Well, mine is clean up. That's near the end of the brew day. And these are 6.5 gallon carboys, so they're pretty much equal. Well, probably fermenting tomorrow. Debating a blow-off tube. Maybe I will, just because it's a wheat beer and it's pretty strong. I will check the final gravity with some of the stuff left in the boil kettle on my refractometer. It'll be just clean up the mash, clean up the boil kettle and all that flask and every little thing that goes with it. Carry these things into my basement and shake them up a bit to get them a bit more aerated, even though they've been pretty good, as you saw. And this battery is not lasting as long as the last one. I'm already down to 2 bars. I guess this one's an aftermarket one, and that really says something about that. Also push the brew stand back to where it goes and bring my motorcycle back in the garage. It's near the end of a long brew day. everything's cleaned up, pushed back in so I can fit my motorcycle back in here. I just have that, you see the 3-tier? I just have that one beer that I threw in with the can kit to deal with. I'm just going to check the gravity, I guess, throw it in a carboy. I haven't decided on the yeast I'm using yet, and make sure, you know, the gravity's decent. If not, I'll throw dextrose in. I don't care about this one. And call it a beer, and then I'll have over 20 gallons on the go at the same time. So I'm going to go push my bike in now and deal with that other one, and wouldn't mind a shower and go to bed. Just going to fill these picnic caps. Going to pour a pint awkwardly. I've only had one beer today. I don't even know which of the two of them having. That was me, because I'm doing it one-handed. Whatever it is, it's clear. Shut that. So I chose a pack of Nottingham. It's going to go in that kit beer mix. I'll get to that. Let me have a few. Sips of homebrew. So for this other beer, I already put a bit of dextrose in. Didn't even measure it. I just felt like it. I'm going to keep handing away. Throw that in the sink. I'm going to dump that in there. I've already put some water and dextrose, mixed it up. Again, I can't do this one-handed. Take it off this, set it on the floor. Like a mini. Sorry about that. Holding it. At least to see it pour in. Oh. Don't want this on the floor. That's good aeration. This one's a 6-gallon carboy. I don't think I can dehydrate the Nottingham. I know you're supposed to. That's pretty much hop sludge. I'll get this in the sink quickly. And I did have a hop sludge in this one. Yeah, there's one. Guess I can edit this out. So you see I still need a fair bit to go. Again, with the hydration, not bothering. So let's put this down the funnel. The water will wash the rest of it down. I haven't used Nottingham in a while. There she goes. I only want enough to go into a keg. So I'm just looking for measurement. That's more than enough. This goes in the sink. Make it nice soft. View right now. This here. Give it a good mix up, make sure everything's blended nicely together. And this was the extra runoff from that Dunkelweizen and a can of Beer Maker's English Bitter. A guesstimate amount of dextrose, no friggin' idea. And cold water. Might put a blow off on that. I did on the other ones. And it's saying it's a good 17 degrees, or 62. It's not bad. So I'll edit out all the stuff that didn't need to be in there. So that's the simplest way you can make beer. No, not the simplest, but a way to make beer. So a fair bit going on, and I'll take a video when I'm downstairs and show you the other two, and then show you prior in the morning. So here's that kit brew with the remainder of the Dunkelweizen with the Nottingham in it. I'll just keep the Nottingham pack there so I know what it is. I actually threw star sand in the airlock. Don't normally do that, but it's 11 degrees in here. Nottingham can ferment pretty cool, so we'll see on that. I'm just going to take a pause and I'm going to show you the other two. Oh, quick stop over on the journey. This is that other beer I made on the stovetop. So the Cooper's IPA with the Simcoe hops. It's sitting at 62 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty warm in my basement for once. I don't even know the control over there is to 16.4, but fermentation does warm up. So that's still going good. And that was on a yeast cake of BRY 97. And here we go again for where the stir plates were. So I got blow-off tubes on these. Let's see if it's needed. Rinsed them out, star sand. They're in a bit of a bleach water solution. Let's see if they're going tomorrow morning. That's all I can hope for. Well, when I wake up, I'll see, because it's almost 9 o'clock p.m. So say 8:30 tomorrow evening will be 24 hours. That's just a whine in the background from my mom. Just a quick update. It's been, I guess, over a day plus. It's a Sunday morning, and I brewed this beer on Thursday. This was the extra runoff with the Cooper's. Oh wait, no, this had the beer maker's English bitter kit now with the rest of my Dunkelweizen, and threw the Willamette in, and you can definitely see the airlock's going good. This was like just a fresh pack. I didn't even hydrate it. You saw me in the video. Just toss it in and mix it up, and it's got good crow's-on level. It's really pumping away, working very well. Better than the Dunkelweizen with the washed yeast. It's a slow start, but I'll give it another day or so and see where it's at. But this one's pumping away extremely well. So you can see, this is the Dunkelweizen I made. It might have started slow. I know that yeast starter should have been made the day before or plus, but as of now, this one started first, surprisingly, even though it was the same yeast, and this one was slower. But look at that now. Airlocks are going crazy. Krausen's almost I'll do a blow-off, because I took the blow-off tubes off because I wasn't sure if they're getting a... They were getting a good seal, it seemed, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I stuck airlocks in, but I might have to go back to the blow-off tube, because that is close to blowing out, and you can see it's climbing. But again, this beer I think was a 1065-ish, so it'll be about 6.5%. We'll see how much the hops come through, the saws at the end, but and my homegrown Holochar from a year before, when I made an Oktoberfest with it, it was great actually, and I just used it to bitter. So just a little update, end of the video, I guess, and maybe I'll make something about whenever I tap these beers and drink them. But again, this is a Monday morning, and I brewed this beer. I finished it Thursday evening, so it's been quite a few days, but it's going. And I switched this back to 720 60 frames per second, because I think when most of the video I did 1080 30, I think it's choppy. So back to this, and maybe I'll use my digital camera, which I used to do, get much better pictures.